It is 4 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. Good morning to you, Grenada, Carriacou, PD, Martinique, and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, to you, wherever you are. It's a wonderful morning to you. It's a Tuesday morning, the 31st day of the month of May. It is literally about to say goodbye to it and say good. Officially tomorrow, we welcome in, we usher in at the start of the 2020 Hurricane Atlantic season. But indeed, it's a pleasure being here with you. And we say good morning to our listeners. Those of you that's been with us all morning, thank you for being part of the conversation. And welcome back our viewers on Channel 7, Channel 11, and those of you that's on Channel 20 if you're following us via cable. Special good morning and welcome to those of you on the World Wide Web at www.gbn.gd, our Facebook of YouTube channel. I'm Joseph Kado, and welcome to this another episode of To The Point for today, the 31st day of the month of May. My guest this morning, it is Tuesday, and as you've come to expect, we have a representative from the National Democratic Congress this morning, Quince Britton, and he is the NDC's candidate for St. Mark. Quince, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Joseph. Good morning to your listeners and viewers. I'm doing quite well.
Indeed, it's a pleasure having you here on the platform. Let's start the conversation. Normally, if you meet somebody for the first time and you would ask them, well, who are you? Tell me about yourself. What would their response be this morning? If I were to ask you to introduce, and I'm asking you to introduce yourself to Grenada and the rest of the world.
Good morning again to your viewers and listeners to the rest of the world, right here locally. My name is Quince Britton. I am from Victoria in St. Mark, the son of the soil, born and bred right here in St. Mark. Went to school. All my school life has been basically in St. Mark up until to a secondary level, and then I moved to TAMCC and so on. Joseph, I have been a community-based person who have been, organizing here, helping locally and so on within the community, raising issues of concerns in the community. I have always been a part of community engagement, community involvement, being involved in community activities and so on. So, in a nutshell, I'm a homegrown son of the soil.
Homegrown son of the soil, and one may beg to ask the question that you've been doing particularly well as on the community level, holding your own. Why the need, though, to get into the political arena?
Well, basically, because I've seen a lack of proper representation in St. Mark. Over the many years, we've been getting the complaints and so on. I've been raising issues, and the response that we've been getting for those issues that has been raised has not been very forthcoming. So I said, rather than I stay on the side and raise the issues, how about we organize and get it done ourselves? And many persons had asked me, why not take a bold step? And over the past 2 years, been seriously thinking about it, and here I am today.
Why not take a bold step? And here you are. You said you've been working at the community level, but before we get into some of the concerns that have been brought to the fore, St. Mark's has a rich tradition, very rich tradition. What are some of the things in your estimation that allows St. Mark's to stand apart from the other parishes?
Besides the beautiful Sunset City, St. Mark's, contrary to what people might think, that it was given the name Vancouver by the French, and St. Mark has a lot of talent, a lot of rich talent that is just waiting to be harnessed, and we must provide opportunities and so on so that the people can reach their fullest potential. Right? So St. Mark's has an excellent layout If you look at the layout of the streets and so on, in particularly in the town of Victoria, it's one of the best laid out town you have in maybe in the Western Hemisphere. You know, I'm not. I have to boast there because I'm proud to be a part of Saint Mark, and
Right.
we have an excellent layout that welcome businesses and so on. There's no dead end really when you come through the streets of Victoria. You can get lost very easily. Um, Aside from that, we have one of the highest mountain peak, which is Mount St. Catherine.
Right.
We have a number of waterfalls and different tourism sites that can be developed and so on. Well, we will get into all of that. So basically, St. Mark has the potential to do a lot better than it has been doing over the many years, and that is one of the reasons that I want to get more involved to help with the development of St. Mark.
The capacity to do better and the actual delivery of that which you speak that's two separate sides of the coin. Why, though, you think that over the years that capacity to do better has not been tapped into, so that St. Mark can realize its fullest potential?
Mainly because I would say the lack of inclusion. So a politician or a minister of government or the government by itself cannot do it by themselves. It has to be an inclusion with the people, right? So you need to form that relationship. You need to have this bond, right? It must work like hand in glove in order to develop St. Mark. And over the many years, what has been happening there has been a total disconnect, I would say, from government and the people. People have to realize that we, as the ordinary citizens, are the employers of the government. So is we to basically tell them what to do, work hand in hand with them to getting the job done. So that has been a challenge. That is why I think I would make the bold statement that we have not been developing or enhancing or being able to enhance or reach our fullest potential, I should say.
A disconnect, you say, is that really a correct indictment?
Yes, there's a total disconnect, and I could give you many examples. If I should just use one example, for instance, over the past 4 years or so, I've been raising some concerns, particularly to a bridge in St. Mark, a temporary bridge that was placed sometime in the aftermath of Hurricane Emily. And that bridge is basically at Bonnet School. And I've been asking, what really, because it's supposed to be a temporary bridge, but it has been placed there for many years. And obviously it is lumber, so what would happen with the weather, wear and tear and so on. And that, what I've noticed, the deterioration and everyone just turning a blind eye, and I've raised concern, take photos, did videos, basically to raise more concern. And they seem to turn a blind eye. I think about 2 years ago, I heard the parliamentary representative, highlighted it vaguely, and so I was like, you have many, like hundreds of children traversing that bridge daily because you have 3 schools in the area, right? And children of all children under the age of 15. So I don't know. People seem to be disconnected to what the reality is, and I don't know if it's a fear factor. I think it's more of a fear factor. People not realizing how important their role is and so on as constituents. So that's why I said there has been a total disconnect.
But I'm trying to get an appreciation, though, because you're saying the disconnect. Is it that you mentioned that there is a fear? So is it the fear that's driving the disconnect, or is it a case whereby government, politicians in recent times have not been committed or doesn't have the testicular fortitude to recognize and stand up for the people of St. Mark?
It is both. It is both. There has been a fear, and the fear factor basically comes from persons who may have differences of opinion and so on, and afraid to speak out. So and as well as the politician or the politician not having that testicular fortitude, as you say, to boldly stand up, saying this is what the people of St. Mark is requesting, and this is what the needs are for the people of St. Mark. And I can go on and on, Joseph, with many, concerns of the people of St. Mark. That I'll wait for later.
It is often said that politicians, notwithstanding which side of the fence they sit, they just the reverse end of the coin. That they are what they are, politicians. Then they would do what politicians do, make promises, and we wait to see if they can deliver. With that being said, and the history of politics in Grenada, why then should the people of St. Mark, after all these years, being having being represented by an NDC administration at one time, more than once, and an NNP administration, why then should they determine, why not Young Britain? What do you offer to them that makes you so uniquely different?
Well, I offer to them a dynamic leadership with the inclusion of people, right? We have youth, predominantly the demographic in St. Mark. We have over 60% of the population has been youth, or is youth, I should say. So I bring a new kind of energy and so on with the politics. And just to correct you, Joseph, since 1984, the Mark constituency has not been represented in the Parliament of Grenada, right, in the Houses of Parliament, by any other party or representation, from the NDC. It has been one party for 38 years.
Yeah, well, there might be one party. Maybe it might be a case of you not having a representative, but I'm just making the point that the NDC has been in power, and whether or not you have a representative that has won his or her seat, there is a total responsibility by government to ensure that the Grenada is actually is taken care of. How then do you then decide to break that bond? Know that you've opened the floodgates for me then, that you're saying for the last generation, this is what has happened. And depending on how some may argue, it may either be a good or a bad. What do you bring to the table? Yes, enthusiasm is one thing. What are some of the issues in the parish that you see as being immediate, that you are committing yourself to tackle so as to address the immediate concerns of the people of St. Mark?
Okay, so one of the immediate things that we can tackle is for sustainable jobs. You have a lot of persons in the parish of St. Mark, or in the constituency of St. Mark. And, well, if I just say parish, I might be excluding some of our constituents based on how the political boundaries and so on is. Because, for instance, Maran is St. John, but the boundary, the electoral boundary, it encompasses Maran into the constituency of St. Mark. Mm-hmm. And sustainable jobs, we need to revitalize our rural economy, or we need to bolster some more economic growth. And there has been, since the passage of Hurricane Ivan, we had a local economy here where the DNA building, commonly known as the Nutmeg Pool. In St. Mark, just like many other parishes, that the pre-Ivan levels of nutmeg production and so on. You have those nutmeg pools or facilities being opened. And since the closure of the nutmeg pool in St. Mark, that basically, killed the economy in St. Mark. And we need some more activities like that. And for example, we have the Juve chocolate factory in St. Mark, right? That can be expanded so that we can create some more jobs and so on in St. Mark. That's just one example. If you go into, you create the avenues or the opportunities so that people can either expand their business.
Are you there? I'm still here, Quincy. Sorry. Your mic's muted. But you sunk much lower now. The volume is much lower. Here's what we do. 21 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. My guest this morning, representative of for St. Mark for the National Democratic Congress, Quince Britton. We take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back right here on To The Point.
Looking for that injection of vibes and energy, of course? Well, I've got just that. Hi, my name is Gary Mr. Smooth, and I'm inviting you to join me on the Hot Morning Show on Hot 98.5, 98.7 FM. Weekdays, Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 in the morning. I've got a healthy dose of your favorite and most infectious hits sampled with information, news, laughter, and all the other ingredients that go into making the hottest morning show on the radio. The Morning Heat. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit us up on WhatsApp, 435-7517. We've got topics, we've got discussions, calls, voice notes, and so much more. But I can't tell you everything. You gotta tune in. The Hot Morning Show on Hot FM 98.5, 98.7 with yours truly, Gary Mr. Smooth. Kaboom!
Vaccine safety is always a top priority. Like other vaccines, the COVID-19 vaccines being developed have been through the same trial phases and rigorous process required for all vaccines. Global efforts on the development of the vaccines are built on existing research from previous coronaviruses like MERS and SARS-1. As COVID-19 vaccines are approved for their broad use in the population, be reassured that they will continue to be monitored to identify any adverse events. Your safety is our top priority. Vaccines bring us closer. Choose to get vaccinated.
The most anticipated family fun-filled event on the GBN calendar is back. The Maggie King of the Grill. Join us on June 4th at Montrouge. Be part of the culinary masterpiece as the best grillers on island compete for the coveted title of the Maggie King of the Grill. Think you have what it takes? Be part of the action. June 4th. Book your spot. If not, step away from the grill if you can't handle the heat. Maggie King of the Grill is sponsored by Maggie, Matuk's Barbecue Sauce, Rubis, Dasani Water, Calico Shopping Center, Duty Free Caribbean, and Siesta Hotel.
Who does matter the party? Tell them it's 4-7 trade. Shout it, let them know where we represent 4-7 trade. Who's the body's passing? 4-7 trade. They're not crazy like.
This is a message from the Ministry of Health. If you or a family member suspect that you may have contracted COVID-19 and are displaying symptoms, please immediately self-isolate at home. This means that you must also avoid all contact with other members of your household. Do not visit hospitals or health centers, as this creates the potential for further spread of the virus, and it puts additional persons at risk when you come into contact with them. Your best course of action is to call the COVID-19 hotline at 458-4787 or 538-4787, or contact your nearest health center or medical station. Once your information has been received, health officials will come to you. Help prevent the spread of COVID-19. This has been a message from the Ministry of Health.
26 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. Welcome back to The Point for today, the 31st day of the month of May. My guest this morning, Quince Britton, and he's NDC's candidate for St. Mark. Quince, thank you. Welcome back. We seem to be running into some technical challenges. Are you there, Quince?
Yes, Joseph, I'm here. I hope that your listeners and viewers are able to hear me.
Well, you changed device, but it seemed to have compromised the quality just a bit. So I was asking you, you talk about not just St. Mark, but Grenada on a whole having quite an active youthful population. What is it you intend to offer to them? You talk about sustainable employment. Articulate that for me. So exactly what is it that you consider, in your estimation, to be sustainable employment? I would say to a young person, you know what, St. Mark is home. Let's do this.
Yes, Joseph. So, sustainable employment, especially when it comes to youth. You hear me, right?
I'm hearing you, but I'm not sure. Whatever you changed on your end, the audio is coming and going now. No, you just muted your mic. You just muted your microphone. Yes?
You hear me? Better?
I am hearing you, but it was better on the previous device. We need to probably try to sort that out, because I want to ensure that we allow for a clear, clean broadcast. But whatever device you were on prior, it served us quite well. 28 minutes gone past the hour. We'll have to gone past the hour. We'll definitely take another commercial break and see if we can sort out whatever technical issues Quince is having on his end. It's To The Point right here on the Classic in the morning time. Mikey?
So we need to get the facts straight. How does this virus work? How does it transmit? Where does it want to go? And let's protect ourselves. I'm Dr. Peter Lynn. I'm a family physician in Toronto, Canada. The coronavirus is a family of viruses that can cause as mild things as just a common cold, all the way up to SARS or MERS. These are these bad pneumonias that we're talking about. And basically what these viruses are, they look like a tennis ball with all these spikes sticking out of it. And depending on the type of spike, it allows that virus to attach to certain places. So some viruses, they have this spike that attaches to your nose. So basically you just get a common cold. But the SARS virus and this new virus that we're talking about has the spike that allows it to attach to the cells in your lung. And when it attaches there, it puts in information to make photocopies of itself. So it uses our equipment to make more viruses.
I'm declaring a public health emergency of international concern over the global outbreak of novel coronavirus.
Most of the coronaviruses live in animals. In this particular case, it was from Wuhan. There was a fish market where they were selling live animals. And the thought is that the virus was in a live animal, then it crossed into a human. But then what we found was that people were getting sick in terms of healthcare workers, in terms of family members that were looking after them, which now meant that the virus can pass from human to another human. just like all viruses, it needs to reach a target, which is your lung, and it has to get there with your help. It has no feet and no wings, so therefore it needs us to move it there. So that's why we keep saying, don't hang around sneezy people because you're going to breathe it in, and don't touch your face because that's how the virus is going to get in. The masks are helpful.
Thank you. Welcome back to the program. And again, just so we want to apologize. We missed it. Well, I'm hoping he had his technical issues all sorted out. He had a change of device. And certainly, Quince, are you back with me?
I'm here, Jules.
Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome back to the program. We were talking about sustainable livelihoods, and that has almost become cliche. Let's get to grassroots. Just talk to the people. What exactly, when we look at the different sectors, health, education, sports, what are some of the issues and areas that, in your estimation, needs immediate attention that would allow for what we refer to as sustainable development?
If I may start, we can go with agriculture, right? Because we must be able to feed ourselves in order for us to remain healthy and so on. You hear me, right? Generally, and particularly to St. Mark, we have not been actively replanting our lands, especially with short crops and so on. And I think the attention that has been diverted to traditionally the attention has been diverted doing the debushing program. And I think that if we change course and we assist the farmers and so on in getting their lands, properly maintained and properly planted and so on, that can help create some jobs. That's just one aspect of it, right? Also, in the fishing industry,
I'm not even quite sure. Let me just go while you're at it, though. I'm not even really quite sure why we even for a split second ever consider debushing to be some form of meaningful employment. Yes, it helps. I agree totally. But just as you mentioned it, about replacing debushing with agriculture being replaced with debushing, I'm not sure since when I could make the parallel between the two. I hope you can help me to make the disconnect.
Right. So when I didn't, and let me just be specific. I'm not replacing debushing with agriculture. What I'm saying basically is that we need to get some more assistance to the farmers, right? So in that way, we can help with farm labor support, right? That would help create some jobs, right? Because it's something that we need farming every day, right?
Right.
So we can help the farmers clear up the lands, plant and so on. Notwithstanding the debushing program is something that would be always should be always ongoing. So it's not replacing one for the other. Right? Just let me make that clear. Also in the area of fishing, right? In the area of fishing, particularly in St. Mark, we have two communities almost 2 miles apart, or within a 3-mile radius, I should say. You have over 100 boat owners and fisher folks in St. Mark. And, they, with their catches and so on, they normally give the fishing capital very, very keen competition and sometimes surpasses them on an annual basis. And we have not had or have not seriously looked into doing a fish processing facility. As a matter of fact, I think in St. Mark, the record is there, in St. Mark, we are the only parish or the only constituency that does not have a jetty facility, right? So we need to do some expansion and so on. So with a fish processing facility, that can help create some more employment for the people who, would come to process. We can smoke, and if we open up a fish processing facility, that in itself will create some more sustainable jobs. Also, in agro-processing, as I mentioned before, we can expand that facility up at Diamond, the Juve chocolate factory. We can expand that facility because our cocoa in Grenada is renowned and worldwide. I think that we should be even getting cocoa from different islands, to meet the demands and so on, if we're not able to supply locally. So that facility can be, if it's properly, the opportunities are provided, that facility can expand and create some more sustainable jobs here in St. Mark. You don't have to take books and go, out of St. Mark for that, because you're looking at local jobs can by the local economy in St. Mark.
Do you get the sense, Quince, that because as human beings we adapt and we become the prevailing environment that we live in, that's what we become ultimately? And certainly over the years, economically, there's been a label that has been attached to St. Mark as it relates to its economic prowess. Do you sort of get the sense that you've been labeled that for so long that the people somehow, they become the embodiment of that which you said, St. Mark being the poorest village, and everybody just seems to embrace that, and it seems to be like a revolving door?
To an extent, yes, and that is one of the reasons why I get involved, because I certainly think that, and I believe that we have the ability to change the status quo in St. Mark, but it has to be done collectively, right? It cannot be business as usual. We must get up and get here in St. Mark, right? And not depending on government, to come around and do certain things. Government might be a link between the people and getting that economy moving once again. And so with more activity, local activity, then you normally have, more money being circulated and so on. And I can tell you, St. Mark has a lot of talent that can be utilized. We're very unique. We have a rich culture, and especially, there's something that happens every month. I don't know if you have visited before. The St. Mark Food Festival. This was born from sometime 2007 when you have the World Cup, the Cricket World Cup, when Grenada hosted. The Paris got an opportunity or two so that they can showcase themselves. And St. Mark used that opportunity where they can showcase their local food and so on.
Right.
That itself, on a monthly basis, there's a serious economic spin-off into the economy. So if you have something happening like that on a weekly or daily basis,
right,
you have some kind of economic stimulation here in the local economy.
I just hold for me, Quiz. I have a caller that is, I think we love to call it. At 435-2041, that's the number that is on the inside. Reminding you that you can post your comments as well via WhatsApp. Via WhatsApp, and I'm going to head to some of the questions that's there right about this time. So, question for you, sir. Your party mentioned that it will be reducing government income for 12 months as a trial if elected. My question is, how does your party intend to fund all of the project that they want to do? I'm trying to wrap the question around my mind, and I can't say for certain whether or not this is actually something that's been articulated by your party. But if you can, it says that your party mentioned that they would be reducing government income for 12 months.
I have no clue what the color that person is referring to.
But let me ask you though. There's been a conversation. You talk about getting the people involved. And there's been a strong and healthy conversation for years now. But before we go there, let me just take this call. Good morning, caller. You alive?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you alive, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes, St. Mark's. St. Mark's, in times gone by, a few years ago, many years ago, St. Mark's was a very industrious parish. In terms of agriculture, hard-working people, and I think there was a soft drink factory there some time ago. So St. Mark's is not a village many years ago that was sitting idly by. That was a village that was very productive. Now it is almost close to the bottom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Your thought, Quince? Comments?
Yes, Joe. And I was not even maybe in liquid form as yet. When St. Mark once had from historically what I was told that St. Mark's had 3 soft drink factories. And the caller is quite right. St. Mark was a very industrious place. What I do remember, like I told you, from just pre-Ivan, before the closure of the Nutmeg Pool, that in itself used to be an economy in St. Mark, where you have workers from the Nutmeg Pool getting paid every Thursday, and there used to be a buzz with all business and so on around there. And over the many years, that in a sense, has taken a nosedive. And quite frankly, what I've seen happening, the only time I've seen economic activity is basically once a month when we have the St. Mark Food Festival, and which I think can be enhanced and be part of our tourism product. Also, there is a wonderful little beach higher up in St. Mark named Duquesne Bay, where you have some Amerindian petroglyphs and so on. Duquesne Bay has the potential to do as much as what Barkway is doing for St. Patrick's, as well as what Grandance is doing for the south of the island. So my vision, or the vision that I see for Duquesne Bay, you can have, whether it's local or foreigners coming to enjoy ambience and so on of that beach. You can do water sports. You can do, you can have beach chair rentals. You could set up little booths on the beach, where people can get to. All those are things that can, help boost the rural economy outside of the other agriculture. And once you have that boost in the economy, it encourages more businesses and so on to open. So St. Mark is a special place to my heart. And that's one of the reasons why I would not leave St. Mark and go anywhere else and stay.
Well, but let me ask you though, because one of the challenges that there is to growth and development is rearranging our mental status quo. And very often we may get great leaders, but if the people themselves they remain in this quagmire, this revolving door, where they can't shake off the shackles of yesterday and move to the next level, what do you see that's needed? Because very often that could then be the ultimate demise. What then would you suggest that programs that you would implement, you see that needs to be done so as to address that mentally, the way we think, the way we perceive, the way we react to things, that holds us in that bind?
All right, Joe. St. Mark, what we need to do in order to change that mental perception that we have, especially when it comes to the older folk, right? Who seem to holding on to, what are the values and principles and so on. Time has changed, and what we need to do, we need to create that bond with a partnership with the people and the politicians. We cannot, as politicians or as government personnel, only coming to people whenever is an election cycle. There must be constant whereby you coming out, well, we should form village council, as I was told during the revolution, how it used to be, right? It would form village councils, and that's the way we would get more people's involvement. Because we as politicians or as a government doesn't have all the answers. So you need to have that relationship with the people, form that bond with the people, like I said earlier, and hand in glove, so that we can get things going. And going forward, though, we as a people, it cannot be business as usual. We can't just sit here and just look,
We have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make some observation on Victoria, St. Mark's. Now, Vision, there's a place in Victoria.
Before you continue, sir, there is a device in the background. Could you either step away from it or probably just to turn it off altogether? Just create
everything off together. Right. There is a place in Victoria called Hero Square. I'd like to know one of the heroes, because I find it funny that there's a Hero Square, and I don't think Victorians can name the heroes that should be there. Why the square was named Heroes? Now, in my opinion, Victoria hasn't progressed. Victoria Doggermode hasn't progressed. When you enter Victoria, live in Victoria, the most outstanding thing in Victoria is the police station. You see from all directions, white and blue. The next name you hear calling Victoria, more than any other thing, is Shies Bar. In other words, Victoria doesn't have much talking point. There's not much things happening for Victoria. Mm-hmm. Is there a pharmacy in Victoria? Where when people get sick, they can go and get something in the pharmacy? Or do they have to go St. John's or St. St. Mark's hasn't seen much growth for many, many years.
Okay.
It looks the same way 40 years ago as it is now, especially on the left side of the town when you're going through Victoria. If you're going up, if you're coming down on the right side, the seaside then. When you look at the building, they look the same way 40 years ago. Some of them might have a little paint or whatever it is, but it's the same kind of dilapidated way you look at St. Mark's.
Okay,
but St. Mark's have something that a lot of the other parishes should envy. It's a thing called, I just call it the capital of St. Mark's. It's a thing called Hurricanes Football Club.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Everybody remember Hurricanes from St. Mark's. They win the most competition in Grenada. And you don't hear people talk about it, but that is St. Mark's glory. The Hurricanes. That's what upkeep the name Hurricanes, upkeep St. Mark's and any other thing.
Okay, thank you.
I guess a lot more, but I give somebody a chance to make a call.
Thank you very much, sir. Your thoughts? Lots of potential, but not much being done?
Yes, Joe. And I haven't heard everything that the caller said, but in essence, I think that he's making mention of quite a bit of things that could happen in St. Mark's or that has not been happening. For instance, when I see that we need to create some more economic activities, sustainable economic activities that would help businesses and so on, and even businesses to be developed or people to invest in new business. There are certain amenities that's supposed to be part of the town. In Victoria in particular, Victoria St. Mark is the town of St. Mark, and there are certain amenities that's supposed to be part of the town.
For instance, what are you suggesting? Mm-hmm. Pharmacy
should be part of a town.
And there isn't one in St. Mark?
There is no pharmacy in St. Mark. There's supposed to be a bill payment center or a bank. Those things are basic amenities that should be part of the town. A jetty facility, and I cannot overemphasize a jetty facility. And like I mentioned to you earlier, within a 3-mile radius, we have over 100 boat owners. And the boat owners employ guys to fish, and that adversely affects their family as well. So there's a spin-off, right? Now, if the sea are choppy, it makes it even more difficult for the guys going out to get the boats, because they normally use the smaller boats, row them out to get the larger boats out there. And they have to do the same thing when they're coming back to land their catches. And trust me, Joe, it's painful to see what the guys have to go through.
Do you have a healthcare center?
We have 2 medical facilities, one to the north of the parish in Union and one in the tongue of Victoria. Now, the one in the tongue of Victoria is currently under repairs after much clamor and the people, including myself, asking for an improved facility. Joe, in St. Mark, we don't even have an ambulance. Right? So there's a lot that's why I said there's a total disconnect as to what the people should be getting from a representative. And that is why one of the reasons why I stepped up and I said, Mark deserve a lot better. And I am willing, politics is not something that is no easy, not a walk in the park. But I am willing, as a son of the soil, I am willing to be that representative for the people. And electing me as the next member of parliament, these are the things that I would be going to the parliament to say, this is what St. Mark's deserves, this is what St. Mark's needs. Those kind of things to make the lives and livelihood of the people in St. Mark's better.
We have about 5 minutes left in the program, though, and I wanted just to touch on education, because certainly once the conversation of development becomes a focal point, education must be one of those pillars and the vehicle to carry us there. What's your plans for education?
Oh, definitely, Joe. And education here, not everyone has been given the opportunity or got the opportunity to complete not tertiary level education. So St. Mark, like I told you, have a lot of talent, right? St. Mark has one of the best, and I make no bones about it. No, I'm unapologetic about it. They have one of the best sporting or football community in St. Mark. And the name goes to itself, Hurricane Football Club. But Hurricane Football Club over the years has won a lot of championships and so on. And
just to add to it as well, you only over the weekend, you won the Pure Cup, the Pure Grenada Cup. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. The guys, I tell you, the guys in St. Mark, guys and as well as young ladies and so on, they have a lot of talent. But we need to harness their potential, right? Get them more qualified and so on. Art and craft is something our people are very skilled, or people are very good with their hands. Anytime you enter into Victoria, on the right side of the bridge, there's a gentleman that has art and craft. Everybody know him as Dr. John. He is one of the persons, craft persons in Grenada, where you will find for a tourist more than 10 different products. Right? And studies have shown that by the Board of Tourism. He has more than 10 products that a tourist will purchase. So we need to, to create the avenue so people like himself and Bruce, there's a guy named Bruce, who does a lot, and I could go on and on listing them. So we have to create. So one of the things that I will do as a government, what we will do is create a skills training center, right? And we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are buildings and so on that are just sitting there idly, as well as we can utilize some of the schools on an afternoon basis, to create those skills training centers so that people can either be more qualified or enhance the skills or learn a new skill, right? In the parish, you have one secondary school, St. Mark Secondary School. That's my alma mater. And that school offers a wide variety of technical subjects, right? So schooling or education should not be just limited to a particular age. So we need to reskill, retool, how we go about life and so on, because life has challenges. And sometimes you might go to be an engineer and you might end up being a police. right? So at some point in time, you might want to be a chef, you know. So we have to create the opportunities and so on so that people could reach their fullest potential. So
Indeed. It's 5 minutes on to the hour, Quince, and certainly, time flies when we get in, and there's so much that we can discuss. I'm just going to give it the last 30 seconds, minute or so, because we need to, from here, we need to make way to join the team at the GIS. If I were to ask you, why should anyone within the parish of St. Mark even consider, after a historic representation by your representative, why should they opt for a change now? 1 minute, Quince. Talk to the people.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Now, St. Mark, people of St. Mark, people of Grenada, people in the diaspora, we have had the same type of representation, and we have been seeing the same thing over the many years, right? The change that you wish to see begins with you. So I'm asking everyone, come on board, join the movement for change. St. Mark deserves better. I believe that St. Mark's can do better, and St. Mark's will do better on a with new ideas, innovative ideas, working with the people. I want to work with you so that we can develop St. Mark into its fullest potential, so that businesses can thrive and we can have more economic activity, more sustainable jobs, and we can feel proud once again that St. Mark is a proud parish of rural Grenada. Though we are small, but I know we have lots of talent, and don't see we as young people as problems to be solved, but talents to be utilized and harnessed our full potential. So I'll be coming around, visiting every home, knocking on every doors, speaking with the people, meeting with the people, having village meetings and so on.
Right.
Feel free to ask questions, because I am seeking a job. You will be my employer. So you have the opportunity to interview me, right? And St. Mark's, like I said, will get better under different reasons.
Thank you, Quince Britton, NDC's representative for St. Mark. See us young people not as problems, but part of the solution. St. Mark, he says, you can do better and will do better on the new representation. Today, the quest of change that you seek for, it begins today. And as I say to each and every one of you, as we march forward towards the 23rd of June, ask yourself the question, not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country as an instrument of change. Well, this is where we leave the conversation today, folks. To the point, I say thanks for being part of the conversation. Thank you, Quince. All the best to you. Wishing you Godspeed in everything that you endeavor. Until then, so long, everybody. The Mid-Morning Buzz comes up next, but we said our first stop, we link up with the team inside of the GIS. So long. God bless you. Reminding you, this Saturday, it happens inside of Montrouge, the biggest festival in this part of the hemisphere. King of the Grill. You want to be, the entire Jubian family is going to be there. The whole kit and kibbutz. Your boy JC will be there. Yeah. We'll be looking forward to it. Have a great one, Grenada.